Here's how you'd set up a toggle event for happy hour. Here's the output chain we have for the particular zone we're wanting to turn the volume up and down for happy hour. So let's create the event first. Go to the Events button, create a new event by hitting the plus event, and let's configure it by clicking on the name here, event number 1. Let's first name it. Click on that little white and blue icon. We can call this the happy hour event. Click on the name now that it's renamed, and configure the happy hour. Down here under recurrence, we can hit weekly, and that's already set that way, so that's the default too. We'll accept the every single week, but we need to change the days of the week to Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, each weekday, and we'll skip Saturday and Sunday. And then let's set up the time at the bottom under the start and end time. The default is 8 a.m. Let's change that to 4 p.m. and then click over here on AM, and I hit the up arrow, and that would change that to 4 p.m. And the default of 6 p.m. is already set, so our 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. event has been created, and there we have it. Next, we want to create a preset so we can turn the level control up and down. So rather than use the level control inside the zone processor, if I double-click and open that, this is the level control you would normally link to a DR remote. We're going to add a unique level control, dedicated level control, just to turn the volume up and down. So I'm going to grab these blocks, move them over to the right a little bit, and we're going to insert a brand new level control from the palette here, specifically for the concept of turning the volume up and down a few dB here. So let's prop that level control in there. I'm going to grab the end of the wire here and move it in here so I can insert this level control dedicated for happy hour level. Let's double click and open that, and now let's create the preset. Up here under presets, I can hit the preset button, and it defaults to the toggle tab here, so I can create a toggle like preset. There's my toggle preset. Let's rename that to the happy hour preset, and it is toggle like. So I need to store the value of this level control so it's louder by 6 dB. I can do that two ways. I can change the default setting of the max min here by clicking on the little yellow underlined 0 there and change max min and add 6 dB, for example. I'm going to leave it this way to 0 dB, and I'm going to change the default setting, or what we call the baseline setting of this level control, from 0. I'm going to change it to -15. This gives me the range of 0 as a max and -30 as a min, and I'm going to store this to the baseline preset. So if I right mouse click on this level control, I can save the value that started as a default of 0, and I'm going to save it to this baseline preset by clicking Save Block to Baseline. And that will now store the default value of 15 dB of attenuation for this level control. And now I'm going to turn it up 6 dB. So I need to change that to -9 dB, and that's what I'm going to store. And you'll see how this baseline works in a moment. So to store this to the preset, I can grab this little dice symbol for the preset and drop it on the Add button up here and store that to the happy hour. So now it's stored at -9 dB with an off at min checked and unmuted. And next, I need to set up the control to turn on the happy hour light. So if I go over to the control tab here, I can see everything that's in my control world. In this particular file, I had a bunch of DR remotes I haven't yet set up. Get those out of the way. I can go to the relay icon here and hit the little white arrow. And let's say this toggle relay output, let's rename that to happy hour. Be a relay that closes to turn on the AC power relay to turn on the happy hour neon light. Now I can click on the happy hour switch and open up its properties, and this is how I would toggle the relay on and off manually if I wanted to do that on a live device with the software. But since we're offline, disconnected, let's check this box to make sure the relay is closed and store that to the same preset. Notice that when the preset window is open, I also have the little blue dice symbols to store the settings of the happy hour relay output to a preset. So I can grab the dice symbol here and drag that over to the same Add button, and now that it's in the checked position, the happy hour switch is on. Now that is also stored in the preset, and I can see that that's stored by clicking on the happy hour text here and see that both the level control is stored, and it was stored in the value -9 as we see, and the happy hour toggle was stored in the checked position. So that's what's in the preset. Finally, I just need to link this to the event. And so you'll see over here on the event manager that each event has a chain symbol for this toggle like event, and there's also a toggle chain symbol over here for activating and deactivating this preset. Let's link those together. I can grab the chain symbol for the preset and drop it on the chain symbol for the active indicator. Notice that active indicator is also here in the details window. That's the same exact chain symbol. Here we go. I can drop it on either of these, drop that on there, and I can name that toggle like link. It's a toggle like link, so that links the preset to the event, click OK, and now the event will drive whether that relay closes, and it will drive the value louder by 6 dB. So let's test it. We can test that by clicking the active trigger button. Click active trigger and it overrides the clock momentarily and turns on the happy hour preset. You see that it recalled the preset. Preset is active. The relay switch is checked and the level is set to -9. If I inactivate it, click the inactive trigger, that turns off the event, or deactivates it here, you see. And now we have the happy hour relay not turned on, the preset is not active, and the level control is set down to the same baseline that we stored earlier of -15 dB. So that's how we get a 6 dB add. Activate it, you get a 6 dB add on the level control, the active preset becomes happy hour, and the checkbox turns on, and those settings are restored, and inactivate does the opposite, turns our value back to -15 and turns off the relay. So there we have our happy hour toggle-like event.